Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. My aim is to show you that the key to a happier and more positive mind is to love the life you have. We will look at the tips and tools you can use to improve your mindset, and the best thing is we'll all be growing together. Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 2. Before I get going, I just want to pre-warn you again about my dogs. I know I pre-warned you last week, and I promise you I'm not going to do this every week, but one of them is being particularly annoying today. He suffers from anxiety, bless him, so he's chewing his paws constantly and scratching his ear, so I've had to put his cone on his head, which I don't know if you're familiar, if you have dogs. It's one of those big, looks like a lampshade. So he's like a little alien. We call it the cone of shame because he has to have it on whenever we go out or whenever he's chewing his paws. It just stops him doing it. But you might hear him shaking his head because he does get a bit irritated by it. But there we go. So yeah, there's my warning out of the way. Now, I listened back to last week's episode quite a few times actually. And I did notice a lot of ums and like. If you don't know where I'm from, there you go again. I am from Bristol in the UK, which is in the southwest of the country. And we have a very, how can you describe it? A West Country accent. So you might hear, we apparently say like a lot, and you might hear the odd R coming out of me. So I do apologise. I would like to thank all the different people from lots of different locations for listening to my first episode. So just on my first week alone, I had a number of people download my episode from America. There was a few people in Florida, so thank you. A few people in Australia, and there was even somebody from India. So I just want to say hi to everybody. I hope those people have tuned in again. And I just want to say thank you so much. It means so much to have people from all over the world listening to my West Country accent. So last week I discussed what it means to have a positive mindset and why it's important for your mind and body to try and be more positive. Now this week, I would just like to recognise that not everybody finds it easy to be positive. So the question I would like to research more this week is, how do you become more positive if you're naturally quite a negative person? So I really love the work of Tony Robbins. If you haven't come across Tony Robbins, he is one of the most motivational speakers I've ever heard. He has worked with lots of super successful athletes and sports people. He's worked with business people to help them turn their businesses around through changing their mindset, and I think he's even worked with presidents, but I'm not going to talk about that because I'm not one to talk about politics. It winds me up. He talks a lot about how our mental state, and by that I mean state of mind, affects our focus, how we choose to focus on things. So if you're in a tricky financial situation or you have a health problem, let's be honest, most of our brains are wired to think negatively. So naturally, your state of mind might approach these things with anxiety, with criticism, with irrationality. So how do we change the emotional state that we're in? Now, if you one thing that I have noticed that Tony Robbins gets people to do in his seminars, and I'd like you to do the same. So if you imagine how somebody who is nervous or depressed, how might they look? So my immediate thoughts were they would be maybe hunched over with bad posture. They would be frowning. So naturally, our state of mind is reflected in our body language. So if you can imagine flipping that around, let's say we change our body language to reflect our state of mind. So you have the power to change how you hold yourself. If you stand with your shoulders back, sorry, as you can imagine, I'm doing this myself. I don't know if you can hear me putting myself into those positions, but stand up straight, better posture, shoulders back, automatically makes you feel more positive. It does change your state of mind. Do it yourself right now. We can change the language that we use. So if exactly the same as our body language, the words that we would use, the way that we describe things if we are naturally feeling stressed, anxious, the words we use reflect how we're feeling. So if you flip that around and use more positive language, positive words, happy words, then you have the ability to change your state of mind. So I also mentioned that I imagine that somebody who was in a negative state of mind would be frowning. So let's just have a think about frowning versus smiling. So when you frown, or any negative expressions, cause the brain to release cortisol into the bloodstream, which actually elevates stress levels. If you compare that with smiling, which naturally releases serotonin, which we know that as the happy chemical, that smiling naturally releases serotonin into the body. So you can even trick yourself into feeling happier by, when you realize you're frowning, turn that frown upside down, as they say, and smile. You can fake it till you make it, trick your body, but if you just smile, then that will still release the serotonin, so you do have the power to change your mood. If you struggle to genuinely fake a smile or make yourself laugh, then why don't you put something funny on the TV? So my favourite thing to do is to put Friends on. It always makes me laugh, however many times I've heard it, I've seen it. I always laugh, and it naturally makes me feel better. So to be honest with you, Friends is constantly playing in our house because even my boys love it as well. I'm proud to say we've got them into the habit of just coming in. We don't have normal TV on. We don't watch the news, any rubbish like that. We naturally come in and ask Google, our friend Google, to play Friends on Netflix for us. So, our background noise in our house is always something funny. So give that a go. Or watch a film that always makes you feel good. And the more that you try and be aware of your posture, your body language, your state of mind, the more that you're aware of it, then the more that you'll notice when you are having negative thoughts. So I just want to point out that it's okay to still think negatively at the beginning of your journey, because none of us can change overnight, and that's a good thing, because I think if you do automatically change overnight, it's the same with a diet. We know that if those drastic changes, they never stick. So I think that gradually changing your mindset is going to raise your awareness naturally. So like I say, the more that you when you realize that you're thinking in that way, then just stop yourself, I do it sometimes, and if I can hear myself moaning, even if, in my head, if that makes sense. Yes, I do talk to myself in my head and out loud sometimes, or to the dogs. I use that as an excuse as well. I talk to the dogs a lot, but really I'm just talking to myself. But if I notice that I'm thinking negatively, then I do stop myself, and then eventually it becomes second nature, and you just have to talk yourself out of it. Seriously, if you can't hear my dog snoring in the background, I'll be amazed. He is going for it. So, sorry, where was I? Oh, I know what I was going to say. Focus. I'm feeling very tired now, actually. I could do with a coffee, but I get like that coffee buzz. I don't know if anybody knows what I mean by that, but if I have a coffee in the morning, I'm fine. But if I have one in the afternoon, I get this strange buzz, and it doesn't give me extra focus. It makes me feel drunk. So anyway, you didn't need to know that. So yes, that was what I was going to say. That leads me nicely to saying that if you want to change the way you think about things, then change your focus. Ask yourself better questions. So what I mean by that is, rather than focusing on what the potential negative outcome of something is, what is the potential positive outcome of it? What are you proud of? What have you achieved in the past that has made you feel proud? And if you could think about something for a moment, please. Think about something that's made you proud. How do you think you are holding yourself now? Do you think you're hunched? Do you think you're frowning? If you're genuinely thinking about something that you're proud of, then you're probably smiling. You're probably holding your head up. So it all goes around in circles. If you change your focus, you'll change your posture and your body language. If you change your body language and your posture and your facial expressions, then you will ultimately change your focus. If you don't believe me, just give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. So focusing on body language, your physiological state, and your focus is one way that a negative person can try to become more positive. Another way that we can change the way we think from negatively into more positively is to assess the people around you. This is always quite a difficult subject to talk about because we all have negative people around us, and some of them are family members, some of them are close friends, but ultimately we probably do all have people that we spend time with, that we come away from after spending time with this person or these people. You come away feeling energetically drained. So we all know somebody who all they like to do is moan or find problems with themselves or with their life or with their health even, and they like to let everybody know about it. They like to talk about it a lot. We might all know somebody who, if you go out for coffee with somebody, you could get 45 minutes into the conversation and you realise that this person hasn't even asked how you are. You know all about their problems. And that's great because we all need to talk to our friends. But if this is regularly happening when you see a particular person, then I really would recommend that you really limit the amount of time that you spend with them, and certainly the amount of energy you give them. Now, I'm not necessarily suggesting that you cut people out of your life. That's a decision only you can make. There might well be people that you think, actually, this person's really no good for me. If you notice yourself bitching about other people when you're around someone in particular, and that's all you seem to do, and you're not that person, then that person who you're with probably isn't a very good influence and probably isn't on your vibe. So you might feel that the best thing to do is to cut them out or phase them out. You can tell that I watch Friends. If any of you are Friends fans, then you'll know cutting out, phasing out are Friends terms. But ultimately, only you can decide whether you need to cut them out or just limit the amount of time you spend with them. Limit the things you do together. If you want to try and improve their mindset as well, make them a little bit more positive, then why don't you put yourselves, both of you, into a more positive situation? So rather than, I don't know, if you go round, if you're spending time at this person's house and that's where you tend to moan and bitch about people, then go and do something else. Go to the cinema together, or go to a bar together. Go and do something where naturally your focus will be on something else. It takes a really brave person to recognize when somebody is making them negative. And I can think of one person in particular who I am so proud of, and I know this person will be listening. You know who you are. And I'm so proud of them because a while ago, they were surrounded by lots and lots of negative people. And this person had a number of situations arise, and it was becoming more and more clear to them that these people that she was surrounded by were no good for her mental health. And it took a lot of guts, but she eventually realised this and actually addressed it with them. And, you know, that's not to say that if you do this, it's not to say that you can't be friends with that person anymore. But, you know, it takes a lot of guts to take yourself out of a situation. And it's so important that we put our own energy and our own mental health first before anybody else's. If you haven't got a positive state of mind, then that's not much good to you. And let's face it, it's not much good to anybody else either. So instead of surrounding yourself with negative people, surround yourself with people who you spend time with and you always come away feeling supported, feeling loved, feeling confident. So just to recap, how to become more positive if you are naturally a negative person. You can change your posture and your language, your body language, which will change your state of mind. You can change your focus, ask yourself better questions, focus on what you're proud of. Oh, there's the door. That's my son coming home. Hang on. Right, I'm back. Where were we? So change your focus. What are you proud of? What makes you happy? Make that your focus. Notice when you are... Try and be aware of when you're focusing on negative things and just stop yourself from doing it. And finally, be considerate of who you spend time with that makes you feel negative. Be aware of who makes you feel positive and spend your time accordingly. So there are two things I would like you to do. So the first thing is, obviously we talked earlier on about posture, about your physiological state. So something that Tony Robbins gets his seminar attendees to do is to take the Superman stance. So if you stand up, do it now if you can, stand up with your hands on your hips and your legs apart, exactly like Superman. Stand up straight and do this for 2 minutes. And just be aware afterwards how it makes you feel. And I'd love for you to let me know the outcome of that. I did it myself yesterday, and I myself felt more confident and more positive. So if you can use that as a tool, if you're feeling particularly negative or lacking confidence, then give that a go. Just go into the bathroom for 2 minutes, do a Superman stance. No one's going to know you're doing it, and you're going to come out feeling more confident and positive. The second thing I would like you to do before next week's episode is I'm not going to get you to focus on the negative people in your life. What I am going to get you to do is focus on the positive people in your life. Think about the people who give you more energy, the people who give you confidence, and the people who you feel support you, the people who are genuinely interested in what you're doing and are your cheerleaders, basically. These are the people who are going to get you feeling more positive. So rather than thinking about the negative people and the people who hold you back, let's focus on the positive people and try and spend more time with at least one of those people this week. I'm sure if you're anything like me, then when I was describing how negative people have an effect on you, you probably had somebody in mind anyway. So I don't need to ask you to do any more with that because you already know. So like I say, focus on the positive people, spend more time with those people, pick up the phone, drop them a message, and I'm sure your positive energy will naturally bounce off of this person as well. So you will probably have the same effect on them, which is going to make their day better. So I'm going to leave it there. It is another short one this week. One of the bits of feedback I did have from the lovely Holly in Australia, hello Holly, was that she was hoping it would be longer. I will get there, but I don't know. I'm still finding it a little bit, with the editing and planning and making myself sound natural. This is still a learning curve for me, so I'm sure they will naturally get longer. But yeah, it's still a short one this week. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I do hope that you come back for more next week. Please let me know how you get on with the 2 things that I've asked you to do. You can do this by sending me a message on Instagram. And as I said last week, my Instagram is LisaDavidge_LOA. Or as I also said last week, you can join my Facebook group, which is A Life with Law of Attraction, I think. It's in the show notes. So please have a look, and the links are in there as well. But please do let me know. Also, if you're enjoying the podcast so far, then please do rate it and follow it if you can. And also, if you're on Apple, then if you could leave a review, that would be amazing. But until next week, that's it for now. Again, if you think of anything that you'd like me to cover, then please do let me know. But I'll see you then. Bye.